Welcome to You're Still Doing That, where we normally talk to everyday folks about the thing they've been doing for a very long time. But today will be a bit different. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest coming to the podcast. The biggest celebrity around. You're never going to believe who it is. It's the one and only Taylor Swift in the house.
Woo!
What? Wait, what's that? Producer Chris? What? Producer Chris is telling me, what, no Swift? She's not here?
She's not here.
What? She'd never come on this no-name podcast? Oh, yeah, you're probably right. No Tay-Tay on this podcast, that's for sure. Well, if you can't get the biggest celebs, at least you can talk about them. That's right, folks. Today's topic will be all about guest celebrities that this podcast could never, ever, ever, ever get, but would make for some fun guests. With me today is podcast producer Chris Shover.
Hello, friends.
And in charge of podcast validation is the ever thorough Bruce Bursey.
Hello.
All right, folks, let's talk some celebrities. So today's format is a roundtable discussion. Each person will give two celebrities to be a guest on the podcast. We will discuss each one individually and vote for our two favorites. Feel free to play along at home and leave a comment, email, or call us, even if you know us in real life. And tell us what two celebs would be your guest choices. I'll start us off. You'll give your celebrity name and why they would make a good guest. Not yet, producer Chris. Thank you. And you'll give their name and why they'd be good on the podcast. We'll have 3 minutes timed conversation on each one with producer Chris manning the clock. Everyone got it?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, validation expert. All right, I'll go first. I'm on the clock.
Go.
Go. All right. Celeb number one for me is Daniel Radcliffe. I love Harry Potter, and we share the same birthday. I emailed his people to be on the birthday podcast, but I got no response. Pros and cons on Daniel Radcliffe. Go.
He's a weenie.
No, he's not a weenie.
He's a weenie.
He was on Hot Ones, and he smoked the Hot Ones challenge. All 10 hot wings, no problem whatsoever.
Who else has not smoked that challenge? Come on.
There's a lot. Shaquille O'Neal didn't smoke that challenge.
Doesn't surprise me.
What do you think, Chris? Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter himself.
There's so much more to his work beyond Harry Potter, though.
That is. I got a lot more work, but I couldn't name a single one.
That's the thing. He'll only ever be known for Harry Potter.
That's fine, too. I
No.
mean, come on. I mean, so legacy. He's got 8 movies of Harry Potter. 9 if you count whatever's coming out next.
Name the 9th one.
The Cursed Child.
They're making that into a movie?
Yes, sir. It's either a movie or a series. I don't remember. I have to look it back up.
I read the book. It wasn't that great.
I read the book too, and I don't remember if I have an opinion on it. But I did. It was a play, right? It was a screenplay.
They did make
format.
it into a play.
I did read it. I'm going to have to reread it though, because I don't really remember. Daniel Radcliffe birthday celebration, July 23rd. I will email your people every single month. Maybe I'll get a response. All right, who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right, Bruce Bursey, validation expert. Wait, let's get him on the clock.
Get me on the clock. Come on.
Go.
Sir Patrick Stewart. Make it so.
Ooh, Patrick Stewart's a good pull. Man, I've watched all of the Star Trek Next Generation. I'm sure several times over with my parents, and then I just did it one summer once just to do it.
Yep. Love
X-Men.
Patrick Stewart. X-Men, Dr.
Yep.
Xavier. And, you cannot... As soon as you think of the book, the play, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Tale, he's the man.
That would be good too. What do you
He's the
think?
man.
I love his cameo work on Family Guy and American Dad.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's got extensive Broadway background too, right? Patrick Stewart?
I'm sure.
I think he's been on lots of play, and he's really good friends with Ian McKellen,
He is.
Magneto. They're like bestie pals.
Besties.
And I love Picard when that series came out.
And he is a big supporter of, LGBTQ, all that stuff. He's just an excellent guy.
Yeah, I'm down with Picard. Yeah, he might get my vote.
Definitely.
All right, Chris Shover, we've had 2 guests. Neither one of us have hit the 3-minute mark yet. So let's see what happens with yours. What's your first guess, Mr. Producer Shover?
We're going to do both mine at the same time. Nikki Sixx and Tommy Lee of Motley Crue.
Ooh, Motley Crue.
Don't leave your wife alone in a room with either of them.
Oh, the stories those people could tell would go for hours. Not if they'd be appropriate for the show, but they got a lot of stories I'm sure they could tell.
And enough diseases, out there.
Oh, my goodness. Motley Crue. Yeah. My extent of knowledge on Motley Crue, besides the tunes, what was that movie on Netflix? Dirt. That was very eye-opening.
Oh, it was.
If you want to watch some raunchy fun, go watch Dirt on Netflix.
You know it. And let's not forget, even I'm sure they made a cameo in Tommy and Pamela Lee.
They were not. I did watch that series.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think they were. That didn't put them in the best of light.
Yeah.
No, sure did not. Mm-mm.
Well, they would also be able to go back to your central theme of you're still doing that because they're musicians from way back. They were band people from way back, and they continued that into their, if you want to call their young adulthood, as being rock stars, and then even into today.
You're not wrong. I mean, Nikki Sixx, I think, does do a serious XM show on a routine basis.
You're right. And Tommy Lee was in marching band. He played quads in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would fit right in there. Let's see. Would they be easier to get on the podcast than Patrick Stewart?
Quite possibly.
I don't know. Yeah, they seem like they'd be pretty easy gets. Right? They would just roll with it.
I think so.
They would just roll with it for sure. All right. Ooh, we have not hit a 3-minute buzzer yet. All right. My next celebrity guest. So I was going through a whole bunch of folks I thought might be getting. AOC herself, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I was like, she'd be good. Taylor Swift. Of course, I'm never getting Taylor Swift, but, she's the thing. Jennifer Lawrence is a personal favorite. Quentin Tarantino. I love his filmmaking. Brad Pitt, Bradley Cooper. It's like all those would all be fun. But I'm going to go with the podcast legend himself. One of my very first and famous movie directors I ever found love in is, and I'm a big fan, is Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith.
Oh, from Jay and Silent Bob
Jay and
days.
Silent Bob, Kevin Smith, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Tusk, and Red State, and a whole crowd of other Jay and Silent Bob films. He's got a million podcasts himself that he rolls with. He does Q&A all over the place. And I'm a big fan of his stuff. And I think he's an actual possibility to get on the podcast at some point because he does support his fans that are into his stuff, and he has made appearances before.
That's awesome. I mean, other than Jay and Silent Bob, I don't know much about Kevin Smith. I really don't.
No, unless you're a fan, most people aren't going to really know a lot about Kevin Smith. But I was like, I think I might snag him.
Was he an actor or was he affiliated with? No. Hear me out. As a youngster.
As a youngster, he started off as a filmmaker. Yeah, he started off as a filmmaker. He did the movie Clerks, which won several Indie Awards, and it got him semi-famous. And they gave him a boatload of money to do Mallrats, and the main characters out of that are Jay and Silent Bob are like the token characters.
Yep.
He plays Silent Bob, who of course is silent.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay is loudmouth, raunchy, never stops talking,
drug addict,
heterosexual life mate, as they has been prescribed in the films.
Yeah,
and they hang outside the Quick Stop and sell drugs and harass passersby.
but they get to hang out with what was his name? He was actually he played Severus Snape.
Oh, yes.
In one of the Jay and Silent Bobs, and Alanis Morissette was God.
Alanis Morissette was in Dogma, and Severus Snape. His name will pop in my head in a second. Yep, he was there too. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were in Dogma as well. Lots of heavy hitters. He's got a lot of celebrity fans and pals that come to his stuff. He had a heart attack a few years ago, and then he made a flick right after that, another Jay and Silent Bob flick, but all of Hollywood came out to do a cameo because they weren't sure he was going to be alive the next year.
Yeah.
Well, see, what would be interesting is everything that you've talked about is as we know him as an adult. But,
No, he has
where-
nothing as a kid. No, he was just a regular high school kid.
Well, see, that's where you would have to really probe to find out where that history comes from. When did that acting and directing bug materialize, and was it already there? Like, who did he follow as a youngster? What was his inspirations?
Yeah, that was, and that would be. Oh,
out
ding!
of time.
Out of time.
And it was Alan Rickman who played
Alan
Severus.
Rickman, yes, the wonderful Alan Rickman. All right, validation expert. Bruce Bursey.
The second one was so hard. I mean, there's Halle Berry because it's just Halle Berry. 'Cause God, it's Halle Berry. But I got to go with David Grohl, the drummer for the Foo Fighters and Nirvana.
I almost said David Grohl. Yeah, he's a great pick.
He's one of my favorite drummers next to Neil Peart from Rush. But here this guy is. He's a high school dropout. His mom's a school teacher. Just the things that he's done. He's actually gone up against Westboro Church and
yes, he has.
Had a great time with them, making them look like idiots. But he'll take his smoker, he'll pull it behind his vehicle, and he'll just show up at disaster areas and start cooking.
Yep, yes, he does.
And I'm just like, holy shit, this guy's a rock star, and
he is through and through.
He just shows up, and when you see him, he's just a regular guy. During COVID, he did the battle with the girl drummer. What was her name?
Yes. I remember that.
This guy he kicks ass. He's awesome. He's just a regular guy. Yeah, he's someone I would actually really like to meet. I really would.
And I was a big fan of him because he was in a lot of Tenacious D skits. He would play drums on several of their albums. He showed up in their skits. Of course, Nirvana first, and then moving on to Foo Fighters. And a high school dropout whose mom still supported him and toured with Foo Fighters, helping him carry luggage, go through. So, yay, Mom, for doing that.
Yeah.
I'm all for David Grohl.
Love David Grohl. Mm-hmm.
And he's still fitting in with the theme of the podcast. He was a drummer as a kid, continued into young adulthood, found fame at a relatively young age, and it's continued that fame.
He did.
Into, a 20-year, 30-year career now.
He did.
Yep. They were teenagers when Nirvana started.
Exactly. And, like we've said, he was a high school dropout and just became a studio drummer and then became such a requested drummer. And then all of a sudden, Kurt Cobain calls and says, hey, let's do Nirvana.
That's right. I'm for David Grohl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd swing him, but I can definitely get send an email and get crickets back. That's for sure. I can do that all day long. All right. So let's go over the list. We've had David Grohl, Daniel Radcliffe.
Weenie.
He's not weenie. He's built better than any of us, that's for sure. David Grohl, Daniel Radcliffe, crew of Motley Crue, Kevin Smith,
Patrick
Stewart. All right, so out of that list, we need to vote on two.
I think Kevin Smith might actually return a phone call at least, or at least his people would.
A possibility.
All
right, so Bruce, Kevin Smith and who? Pick another person.
I'm going to go with David Grohl. I think would be the other one that would return a phone call or have his people.
Kevin Smith, David Grohl. All right, producer Shover.
Patrick Stewart and David Grohl.
Patrick Stewart and David Grohl. We got two for Grohl. So he's in.
Yes.
Right? No matter what I vote, he's in. I really like the Patrick Stewart angle. I'm interested in that. And what'd you say again, Chris? David Grohl.
Yeah, I was with David Grohl, but my suggestion was Tommy Lee or
Nikki Sixx.
And Nikki Sixx. Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll. Let's see who's. Look, you can tell I'm having problems.
Yeah.
Who was already in?
David Grohl's
in.
Yeah.
All right, so we got you voted for Crew, and you voted for Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
no. He went with Patrick.
He was Patrick Stewart.
Chris went with
All right,
Grohl
you
and
went
Patrick
with
Stewart.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Yeah, let's see. So I think I'm going to say Kevin, and that'll be our 2, David Grohl and Kevin Smith. Well, there you have it, folks.
There you have it.
Those are 2 good choices.
Yeah.
All right. If you guys got an idea of what celebrities you think you would like on the podcast, just let us know. Leave a comment, send an email, or if you know any of us, you can just tell us.
Yeah.
And would you like us to talk about anything else that might be good on the show? Because you never know what may happen. You never know it probably won't either. So thanks to the tens of fans that listen to the podcast each week. We greatly appreciate it. Share it out. Tell everybody about it. We are accepting guests all the time. So just let me know if you got something you want to talk about, and we'll put you on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, find something you like to do it all the time, make a good life with it, and everyone have a good week.
Bye.